What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll probably sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. We can go through some things and struggle at times, but this is the show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you. Shout out to our friends at NeuroGum for keeping us energized and focused. NeuroGum is a chewing gum, as well as they've got some mints. It has caffeine, L-theanine, and vitamins B6 and 12. Helps with memory and focus. I like to chew it whenever I'm driving around showing houses, whenever I'm making some phone calls, calling my clients. Just anytime I feel like I need a little mental boost. You know, if I got a big meeting or whatever it is, anytime I feel like I need to be a little bit mentally sharper, I'll pop a piece of NeuroGum, and it usually gets me to where I need to be. So get out there and try some NeuroGum.
Also, shout out to our people over at Captain Beard Co. So they make amazing products for beard care. So beards, butters, balms, butters, and oils. And then also make body wash. I know they're talking about getting into deodorant, but it all smells amazing, made with natural ingredients. And they're getting now into candles. And let's light this bad boy up. Oh God, it smells amazing.
It smells awesome.
It smells so good.
Yeah, Gabe hooked us up with my favorite scent.
So
Coastal Drift.
Heck yeah. So go check out their products and check and use the promo code Zach and Pat for 10% off your purchases.
Yeah, and before we kind of dive into things, guys, I just want to take a second here and thank everybody that has tuned into the show, shared the show, been a guest on the show. We really appreciate everybody ever tuning into us. And, if we could just ask for one thing, if you're tuning into this, you click that subscribe button for us. We're a newer podcast. There's been lots of growing pains for sure. So we're kind of figuring it out as we go here. So if you could, help us out, like this video or like this episode, and then also hit that subscribe button for us, that would help us out a ton. So
and also share with a friend, somebody that you feel like would get something out of it. Please feel free to share it with them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man. How are things?
Things are things, man. A lot of new beginnings and endings to chapters that, wasn't really, I knew it would come, but I didn't know that didn't think it would happen this quick. So selling the house and, moving into an apartment now, and then trying to decide what I want to do next. Like buy land and just put like an Airstream on there, and then like maybe Airbnb that out and have the apartment still, and then have the land with the Airstream or some sort of something on the property. I mean, eventually I've always wanted land with a barn dominium on it. So maybe just get that land and start off with an Airstream for now. And then eventually down the road, build a barn dominium. But yeah, I mean, per the divorce, I want to stay within we want to stay within a certain distance of each other. Plus, land on an Airstream ain't probably not ideal for two kids.
No, probably not. But I feel like that's.
I mean, on a weekend, they would love
take the boys out there. You can even turn it into like a camping thing too, or it could be a fun. Man, it'd be so fun.
Yeah.
But like if you once you have that land,
you have it.
You have it,
right?
And, no one's making any more of it.
No.
And just make sure it's in a a good location that you like, and
right.
Man, I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So it's kind of what I'm torn between right now. But yeah, I mean. This is really, we've talked about the mentality of things, and this is one of those times, where you put your ego and your pride in check. I've got this pride built up around this house that, I had built. I worked my ass off to get to that point where I have this house built and raising my kids in this house, and then the relationships with the neighbors. I mean, can't choose your neighbors, but fuck did I get lucky, man. My neighbors, for the most part, are amazing people. And, it sucks, leaving that area and having that camaraderie that we had. Obviously I'm not moving very far, just 5 minutes down the road, but to be able to just like the boys just go outside, run outside, run into my neighbor's house that has a bunch of kids, and just know that they're going to welcome them. But at the same time, new experience, moving into an apartment, potential for a lot of new clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make friends with people. Obviously I'm going to go in there and make the most of it and make friends with people and use that time to, like I said, really, cut back on a lot of things, reevaluate some stuff and move forward better and stronger. So it's it's a strange time, exciting yet bittersweet. It's it is what it is, and I'm excited to take this new step, start this new chapter, and moving forward.
Yeah, dude, it's
So
exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, just new stuff for you.
all sorts of new things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, today we wanted to go over I'm a big fan of Chris Williamson and his podcast, and every week he comes out with a good newsletter. We've done a lot of episodes with James Clear and his 321 newsletter, and I thought we'd kind of do the same thing with this one because he had one that came out on Monday, and I really like a lot of this, and the whole thing's based on 10 pieces of advice for anyone going through a tough time. So, he's just got several things here, and we're just gonna kind of go through them and just kind of chat about it. So, first one, life will not be like this forever. Nothing is permanent, good or bad. When you're on top of the world, it won't last for as long as you hope. When the world is on top of you, it won't last as long as you fear. You feel like a sleepy balloon right now. Soon enough, it will just be a memory of something you've got through. It's just one day, one activity, one thought at a time. Keep plotting.
Yeah, I mean, kind of ties into what I was just saying about starting a new chapter.
Yeah.
You know, things, when you're on the top of the mountain and things can be great. And that fall from that can be pretty tough. And um it's it's a you got to learn the ebbs and flows, especially in real estate.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna take
It's
it.
like a roller coaster, man. Um and so yeah, just sitting there thinking about, can't use the lows as learning experiences, and then the highs. Obviously, you want to maintain that and continue to get there and strive for higher peaks. But yeah, I mean, don't let the down times really get you down. And the bad times, I mean, or the good times, they can be fleeting. It doesn't last long. So it's a very good point.
Yeah, no,
And
I love it. We, like you said with real estate, it's like I always say this business is like peaks and valleys. There's times where things are really, really good and you feel like you're on top of the world and you just closed a big deal and you just got a new buyer under contract and you just signed a big listing and you're feeling awesome. And then all of a sudden you find out, one of your really good friends, bought a house and they didn't even, you know, they didn't use you or you you find out that someone else snuck and took a
Mhm.
deal right from under you,
Yep.
or a deal falls apart. Like we
Yeah,
had a deal that was supposed to close
tomorrow.
tomorrow, just fell apart. It's just there's shit that like this that it's not gonna last forever, but not it's not all work stuff too. I mean, this totally relates to life
Yeah.
and stuff with kids. At least I think about it. I've Gina sent me something the other day that it was like, hey, know that the boys are not going to be little like this forever. We're only going to have these memories that we're making with them, all the the messes in the house and the argumentative 2-year-old and this. You're only you only get to do that once with them. Like,
Mm.
remember that because it's not going to be forever. Because soon enough, in a couple years, he's going to be going to kindergarten, and then from there, he's going to go to
Yep.
grade school and middle school, and like I'm going to wish that he was this 2.5-year-old psychopath running around making a mess, you know, whipping around on his scooter, just wanting to be just constantly fighting with us on things.
Right.
And, it's just, you just know that it's not going to be like that forever and gotta enjoy it and kind of just take that time, I've been really trying to focus on like just taking a second and like whenever I'm doing anything with the kids, like, and just kind of like realizing like, oh man, this, and like just taking in the moment
Hmm.
and not, and just, and really for me that's having to put my phone elsewhere and like really focus on the boys and like really think about what it is that's going on right now and like, man, this isn't forever.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good one. So
Well, being a few years ahead of you with kids, I mean, yeah, like every year, you're just like it just goes by faster and faster and faster, and it's just like Connor. He's in kindergarten now, and there's still things that they do that it's just like, all right, I'm gonna let them do that because it's not gonna last anymore. Like I just posted a picture the other day from a photo shoot that I did with the kids, and it's one of those where I'm down and
yeah,
they're
fucking adorable.
yeah, it's one of my favorite pictures, and um, I'm just like, soon it's going to be flip flopped. The next photo shoot I could be doing with them is me running at them yelling, "Hey,
Yeah.
Connor Oliver!" Like, and
Right.
they're like,
Get away.
"Who the hell is this crazy dude?"
Dad, leave us alone.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
get
already
out of my room.
it's already started. Like,
Really?
I'm like, dude, let's hang out. He goes, no, I don't want to. I'm like, oh fuck, that sucks. Oh man,
Mine already does that to me, but it's just
Yeah.
because he wants his mom.
Right. Well, that's yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, hey man, you want to go outside and play? No, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm like, buddy, you always want to go outside and play. I'm just not feeling it today. I'm like, oh, that's fine. If that's what by all means. Oliver's still at that age where he comes, Dad, let's go do this. Or like he likes to cuddle. So like, Dad, can we cuddle? Like, hey, can we go watch a movie? I wanna watch a movie with you. And I'm like, yeah, sure. We'll go sit on the couch and he'll just cuddle up right next to me. That's awesome. I know that's not going to last forever because Connor's 15 months older and he's already not wanting to do it. And I'm like, fuck. But I can still pick their asses up and I can just pick them up and I'm like, nope.
Squeeze you.
Yep.
You're hugging me back until I put you down.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, and and obviously divorce sucks because I only get the kids half the time. But the one thing that it has done is that moment, that picture that I have, because it is 2 days on, 2 days off, that I'm still getting that. Like I still get that every time I see him. They're like, Dad. Like that's the best feeling in the world. So, but
yeah, I think I saw a Jordan Peterson quote once that was like, you've only got little kids for 4 years,
right?
Like they're really only like little kids for 4 years, and
Really?
Connor's 5,
and you
right?
have 18 summers.
Yeah,
18 summers with him. Yeah. And then like the magic of Christmas or things like that, like maybe 6 or 7.
Before they're not believing in Santa anymore. Yeah, this year it'll be the first, this will be like kind of the first Christmas where I think he gets it. Santa's coming, because last year he didn't really, I mean, obviously, oh, that's Santa Claus, but I don't think he like understood. Now he's like, now that I think he'll get it, the fact that Santa's coming, chimney, put the presents under the tree.
I almost fucked that up one year.
Really?
So yeah, it's actually because with the move, the Santa outfit's in my car.
Oh,
yeah. So I had it in a drawer, low level drawer. No one ever goes in and all that. Sure as shit, they get in it and they see it and they're like, Dad, are you Santa? I'm like, no, guys, I'm not Santa. Well, why is Santa's costume in your closet? And I was just like, there's Santa's busy. There's a lot. And sometimes he reaches out and asks for help. And so sometimes, he sent me this costume so I can help him out, and help spread cheer. But I'm not Santa. I'm one of his helpers. And so quick recovery.
Yeah, quick recovery. God, man, that would have been a tough phone call to Melissa. Like, hey, I fucked up.
Whoops.
Oops. Sorry. Oh, man. All right, we can go on to the next one here. Ooh, I love this one. Mundane successes are big wins. Success may previously have been this grand, impressive occasion that occurs in front of other people as fanfare or accolade. Today you went for a walk, or were kind of that person at the supermarket, or kind of that person at the supermarket, or were gentle to yourself when you became frustrated. Is this as outwardly magnificent as your life's greatest achievement? No, but some days you feel like you're lifting on Mars, and other days you feel like you're lifting on Jupiter. Today is a Jupiter day. Gravity is heavier than usual right now, so well done for carrying that weight. Boring victories achieve no fanfare, but they are even more meaningful. Yeah, I love that.
It's great.
Just that it's kind of what we talked about with Brian last episode, and the success is in those mundane, simple shit that you just do over and over and over again.
Yeah, because they can lead to the greater achievements that he's talking about.
Well, it's like, it's the simple shit like you doing your daily non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. It's the shit that you just do every day, no matter what. I'm doing this shit. It's making the calls. I'm doing the thing. And, it's just that shit compounding over time. And, just every day you're trying to build that mountain out of layers of paint. Every day you're just throwing down another layer, a little bit more every single day.
Yep.
And it's in some days, that paintbrush is heavier than others,
Yeah.
and others days you pick it up and do it no problem. There's some days we're going to the gym or whatever it is I'm pumped to go. Like I can't wait to get there. But then there's other
Mhm.
days like I really don't feel like going in there and getting my fucking ass kicked by Trevor today. But
Right.
like I better do it because I got this big match coming up, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So that's a good one.
Yeah, very, very good one. Next one. Go easy on yourself. You're going to feel frustrated or resentful or anxious or scared or whatever. It's fine. That's going to happen. You're safe. Let it move through you. But you must try to avoid second order emotions, feeling agitated and being anxious, or feeling agitated at being anxious, or ashamed about being so resentful, and then feeling bored at your agitation about your anxiousness or guilty about your shame at your resentments. If you had a child growing, if you had a child going through what you are, you wouldn't chastise them. You'd pick them up and hug them. So hug yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, something similar to that the other day. It's like, man, I'm really hard on myself a lot. I had that match recently. I lost, and I beat myself up about it for a couple days. And like, man, I remember thinking, like, man, when was the last time I did something that I was like super, super proud of, and like really like, because I just don't have the tendency to like celebrate anything that I ever do. I'm like, all right, what's next? I just did this. All right, close this deal. On to the next one. What's the next thing? We won this, we did this, we moved on. It's like, all right, what's the next thing? It's like I never really sit back and smell the roses. And I think that's I think some of that I think that's a good thing for the most part, but like I think some of I think I should sit back and smell the roses a little bit more than I do. I definitely like am really hard on myself a lot.
Yeah.
And
But it's like we're always our biggest critics, our toughest critics is ourselves.
yeah.
Um, the one thing, a lot of my life lessons and things I learned through baseball, and that's one of the greatest things that I learned from baseball is having a short term memory because you fail so much in baseball, and if you sit there and dwell on those failures, you're never going to be able to move forward. Shoot, I remember in high school, I was getting recruited pretty heavily, and I remember pitching down at Arkansas, and can't remember what college it was, but I was 17 pitching against an 18U team. This 18U team had, I want to say, like 4 or 5 guys get drafted off of it, were insanely good. And I got fucking rocked, absolutely shelled. I mean, I think I gave up like 5 or 6 I think I gave up 4 home runs and like 6 runs total in like 3 innings. Fucking shelled. But the thing is like, I had more scouts come up and talk to me after that game. And one team offered me mainly because they're like, yeah, you didn't let those home runs get to you. You just went back out there and you went right back at the next guy. Sure, that guy might have hit a home run, but you went back out there and went right back at the next guy. And I think that's one of the greatest lessons that baseball taught me was like, you move past those failures. You move past those things that are bringing you down because you can't move forward if you don't. And if you get angry with them, it's only going to amplify what's going on. So you have to sit back and be like, all right, I made a mistake there. Fuck it. Move on. I know that I can make this next pitch. And there was time I gave thinking about it, I gave up back-to-back home runs. And so pitch, made a mistake, came back. It was like 2 or 3 pitches later, another fucking home run. And, it's just like, all right, fuck it. Let's go and execute. And so I think, baseball, a lot of things like has taught me with baseball, like, hey, yeah, shit's going to be tough. Shit's going to go wrong. But if you sit there and dwell on it, you're not going to be, you're fucked the rest of the game. You just have to sit there and move on and do your best to remember, hey, I've made this pitch 1,000 times. I'm going to make it 1,000. So it's easy to fall into that. And I have to, like with work, I have to remember that because there's times like, hey, I'll lose a deal. Like I know that I'm not for every client. And there's times where I'm not going to have the best rate or the lowest fees. And that's fine. I get that. But I do my best not to sit there and dwell on that. And then you almost use it as like motivation to go get the next one.
Next one. You do not need to offer the world anything. Okay, you don't feel as impressive as usual right now. Does it feel like the world is about to abandon you because you can't give it something in return? You did not enter some trade with the reality you were when you were you did not enter into some trade with reality when you were born, or only being accepted for as long as you can provide value as recompense. Maybe your jokes are less funny, and your stories are less original, and your aura is less energizing. But when you're going, when you're not going to be abandoned, your friends will want to help. You you need nothing in return. And if you have friends who only want to be around you, you're entertaining them. Those aren't friends. Those are patrons.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think that I agree and kind of disagree with this. So you don't need to offer the world anything. I mean, I think you need to offer the world kindness. Like you definitely like there's certain things that you do, like maybe not the world, but yourself. And for me personally, I feel like if like because I trust me, I've been there. I've been through these highs and these lows, and especially a lot within the last 2 years. Divorce and different relationships and things like that, and then the business and all that stuff. But the one thing that you can offer to the world is kindness. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget about. I mean, we talked about that on the last podcast is like, just be kind to people. I mean, we're all in this. I mean, why be miserable with it? And if you can sit back and just think about, who you are as a person, obviously you can forget that at sometimes, but I feel like if you have a strong why and you can go back to that why, you can help get yourself out of anything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, no, how I feel about this one.
Yeah, there's some, like I said, certain things, yeah, will hit. This one for me just isn't one of those.
Yeah, I think it's really the last line. I feel like is what what I feel like I'm focusing on more than anything. If you have friends that only want to be around you, if you're entertaining them, those aren't friends. Those are patrons.
No, for sure.
I feel like that's what I kind of holding on to here. But because I think of some people that I'm still friends with, and like I would never say these guys aren't my friends, but I feel like I just don't vibe on the same level as they do. Different interests. We have different things going on in our lives. Our lives are very different. What they want to do for fun and what I want to do for fun are very different things.
Mhm.
And I just feel like I've distanced myself from a lot of those guys, and it's not like I've tried to like I've never like oh, I'm not friends with you anymore. Never been that. It's just like I just feel like we have different things going on, different goals and different aspirations. We're interested in very different things. It's just like I have a lot of friends that are just kind of stuck in like the college days, it seems, where they just, want to do nothing but drink and party and try to figure out what they're, just they just want to get fucked up. It's like not what I'm super into anymore. Like I rarely drink anymore, and when I do, it's not nearly as much, and it's just not something I find fulfilling.
Yeah, I think. I mean, honestly, I think it just goes to like how you define friend, the term friend. For me, it's who who can I count on, and obviously, like goes back to the saying, if you only want me when I'm at my best, or if you can't handle me at my worst, you can't have me at my best, type thing. Which in a lot of situations, yeah, that makes sense. Having gone through it, where you see it in pro ball with family members who only reach out to them because they're playing professional baseball, and then as soon as they're done with them. You know, like a friend is someone that's going to be there through everything, and no matter what type of situation you're in, they're going to be there. And if they're only wanting the good times, I think that's kind of what he's trying to say there is if they're only wanting the good out of you, but they don't want the bad, is that really a friend? I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of, um, you know, being in different places and wanting different things and still being friends with those people. Yeah, I totally get that. I just think what he's trying to say, maybe on a little bit of a deeper level, is this is more like, hey, if you've only got those people that are only using you for your good and they don't want anything to do with you when you're down, then those are the people that aren't really truly your friends. Because I'm sure those people that you're talking about, even if you were down or in a rough spot, they would still be there for you.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are still friends.
For sure. No,
Yeah.
100%. They're still my friends. It's just I feel like I just have noticed that over really the last like 5, 6 years. I feel like I've just like my whole friend group has kind of changed. I've noticed. I mean, I'm
Right.
really good friend. A lot of people, you, Murph, all these other people that a lot of my jujitsu friends
Hmm.
have just things have changed. And it's just I think that's, but it's also part of growing older too. I
Right.
think you grow apart. You grow apart from your high school, college, your whatever, whatever that part of your life was. Things change. People have kids. People don't have kids. Like that's I feel like that's a big thing too. It's another thing
And the
is
kids will definitely change things.
for sure.
So
It's
next
fun.
is judge yourself on your actions, not your thoughts. You felt bad, and yet you still did the thing. Getting the job done in spite of not being in the mood is more impressive, not less. Stop discounting what you did just because you didn't feel like doing it. But shit. I feel like we talk about that on like every episode.
Yeah.
Do the shit you don't want to.
Do the thing.
Yeah, do it. And yeah, it may not be your best workout, but hell, you fucking made it there, and that's a win.
It's a win. Getting out of the
Yeah.
car.
I
Put the
just think,
shoes on.
yeah, I just think people in general. I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone here, but I, they lose sight of that. Like just showing up can be a win, and whether it was good performance, bad performance, it's you're there, and it can still be construed as a win. Every opportunity is a learning experience, and if you're going in and you're having a bad day, why don't you learn like what was it, or you're bad, you don't want to go to the gym and you have a bad day at the gym. Why did you have a bad day at the gym? So
I think one of the things is here is like judging yourself on your thought. If you're judging yourself on your thoughts just because you thought you lost because you didn't want to go in.
right,
It's just like, no, dude, did the thing.
right,
Fucking, you won.
right,
Doesn't matter what you think; it's what you do.
right,
Just because I think I want to kill this guy doesn't matter if I'm not gonna get arrested for it if I just think about it.
right,
But if I actually go murder the guy, then I'm going to, then
right.
that's a completely different thing.
All right, and like going back to your tournament, yeah, you lost in that match, but I mean, you were there, you showed up, you put the hours and the training in, and your thoughts after the match were like you said, you were beating yourself up about it, but
Right. Then I met up with, I was training the next day, and I was kind of beating myself up about it. But then one of my buddies like let me know. He's like, dude, you know how much better you got in this
Mhm.
last like 6 weeks when you're getting ready for this? Like you're you're doing things to me that that you've never done to me before. Like all these things. He's like, dude, you may have lost the match, but you leveled up when you did this.
Mhm.
So it's like, and that's one thing I love about competing. I feel like almost every time I do it, I feel like I just get just a little bit better, like every single time, like every tournament, every match I've ever done, like anytime I've like, this is like you have this goal, like, and you're just like so focused on it. Like right now, I'm training for this CXBJJ match, and like I'm so focused on this thing, man. I really, really want to win this one, and and I'm going for kind of got a more different game plan than my normal, and so I'm kind of working on something that I'm not definitely is not my A game, and I know that this is going to be a great opportunity, win or lose. Like I'm gonna get way better at this thing. I'm not gonna talk about it on here because I don't want to make it public knowledge about what my game plan is. But it's I'm very focused on it. It's like, okay, well I'm gonna get better at this sequence of things, and yeah, so I'm looking forward.
awesome.
Uh,
All right, number 6. Allow yourself to become a priority. You have to believe that your needs are important. Usually you subjugate your desires and put everything else ahead of you. Stop fixing everyone before yourself for once. Advocating for what you need is not selfish or narcissistic. It's just alien to you. Put yourself first.
Dude, I this week has been a game changer for me. Honestly, I've been talking about it for a while, but like this week, I'm finally putting my money where my mouth is, and going to bed earlier. I've been really like the last night I went a little bit later than the couple nights before, but I've been waking up, an hour before the boys wake up and getting that morning routine dialed in again, and it is. I was telling Gina, it's just like it's changing. It just changes my day whenever I have that hour to myself and I'm waking up and being proactive versus reactive because I would normally wake up and then it's just fucking chaos. I've just got the two babies, got to get them fed, get diapers changed, get the bottles, do the thing, make them breakfast, do all the thing, and then I'm just focused on them right away. And but having this hour to myself in the morning where my little morning routine, it's nothing special. It's wake up, I read 10 pages, I do my 10-minute meditation, and then I journal for 10 minutes. Usually takes me about 45-ish minutes to do that, 45, 50 minutes to knock that out. And just man, I've done it for the last 4 days in a row now, and I'm just feeling so much better. And I'm waking up and I'm feeling like I'm excited to get the boys out of bed,
Mhm.
like versus before I was like, oh God, I just want to sleep. I just want to lay here. I want to do this. And now I'm like waking up. I'm like, man, I'm feeling energized. I'm ready to go. Like, feel good. I've got like some motivation. I got some of my thoughts on paper. I've learned something. I feel calm. I just feel great. And that's just really changed in the last 4 days. And so I'm like, man, I was doing this for a while, but like ever since Calvin's been born, 2.5 years, I basically fell off of this morning routine. But I was doing it like a religion before, and it just always made me feel so good. And I'm happy to be finally getting back to that. I don't know why it took me so long. It was really just because I was just being too much of a bitch about waking up
Yeah.
and or really going to bed earlier and then waking up earlier, going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. I was just didn't want to do that for some reason. I had this like, no, I like to stay up and have this time to myself at night. But then I'm just like, and then it just turns into me watching an extra 30, 40 minutes of TV after Gina goes to bed, and then me falling asleep on the couch, and then walking up to bed 2 hours later in the middle of the night. And then it just like fucks up all my sleep. So yeah, I've been doing that. That's just, I feel like this is, what he says here. You need to put your needs before other people's, and it's okay. Well, I mean, I can't exactly. I got to put my kids' needs first, of course. But if they're sleeping, I can get my shit done. So this is a time where I can start my day out where it needs to be, and start the day and make it just guarantee that making it a great day.
Yeah, it's almost like that oxygen mask on an
Yeah,
airplane. They always tell you to put yours on first before you
for
start
my
helping
kids.
someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
So ask for help. Yes, you don't usually need anyone. Maybe you don't need anyone now either, but it will be easier if you ask for help. Allow yourself to become a burden. Maybe your friends actually want to help you. Maybe they would love the opportunity to take care of for you. Consider for a second that it's actually noble to not always be the super strong, competent person who's never got any vulnerabilities. That's a good one.
That's a really good one,
Yeah.
man. I have a hard time asking for help
Yeah.
with things. Like I'm just the natural like macho fucking no, I can do this. Oh, I can figure
Hmm.
this out. I can do this. I don't need anybody. It's like yeah, things are so much easier if you, especially like when it comes to the world of like real estate and um like rehabbing houses and stuff. Like that's one thing is you got to realize you can sure can I watch a YouTube video and figure out a way to fix something? Sure, I could. And I could probably do it. And it's probably going to be take me 3 times as long and probably look half as good as a professional or calling someone who actually knows what they're doing. But, you have that macho-ness inside like, "Oh, I can do it." And then it just I've just learned lately that having asking for help is I mean, it's something we need to do. Can't do everything by ourselves.
Oh, 100% agree. And that was probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned with the divorce. You go from being a team to a solo person.
Definitely.
And, there's a lot of things that you learn about yourself in that journey of being alone. And, one of those things is, hey, it's okay to ask for help. And, you know, whether it was like helping around the house, like paying somebody to come in, or cutting the grass, or asking the neighbors, hey, can you help me with this? Or can you help me with that? Like, there's a lot, we have a lot on our plates. And, it's okay. It's one of those things that I've gotten much more comfortable with. And, like I said, like it talks about being vulnerable. I think that it shows another side to a person, and when they're able to ask for help. And I think it strengthens relationships. I think it can be, I don't know. For me, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned over the last couple of years is being able to ask for help and not be ashamed to ask for help, because I was that same way. Like I said, it was more of like a pride thing, ego thing. And, a lot of it is just putting that aside. Um, and being able to be comfortable with it. And fuck, at first it was very uncomfortable to ask somebody for help, but now it's like not making it a habit, but I'm not as uncomfortable if I need something. But like, hey man, can I get some help with this?
Yeah.
So,
Number 8, don't worry about not feeling grateful. Things will happen, some good. It'll be hard to fully feel appreciation for them. Your daily experience is swimming in melancholy. Everything is tough as it is, as it is. Don't make yourself feel worse for not being happier about the little things in life right now. You would have if you could.
yeah, I mean, yeah, everything's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you can try and put a positive spin on it, but if you're not actually like you're trying to fake it till you make it, like, I don't know if that's going to be helpful or not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the whole fake it till you make it works for some things.
Right.
Like I always say with real estate, especially when you're first starting out, it's going to be some faking it till you make it. Like you you're going to be this when you're a brand new agent, you haven't done a whole lot of deals, and at least I was always kind of relying on the experience of the guy that was, training me and teaching me. I was kind of propping him up, and because I didn't have anything to prop myself up on, I was, kind of putting myself on his kind of riding his coattails essentially. And it's not always going to be, y- yeah. So, I mean, but there are some things that I guess, yeah,
Obviously, we talk about trying to look at the positive in a lot of things, as learning experiences and things like that. But you don't always have to be grateful for that learning experience. Like, you know,
sometimes
doing
you got to take your
yeah,
licks.
yeah, like my first time going to jujitsu in the upper level classes, getting kicked in the face during an armbar. Like, I wasn't grateful for that.
Yeah.
That's not something that I'm going to be grateful for. But I mean, there's going to be those times, and it's okay to not. Like I said, it's okay not to be okay, and it's part of growing. It's part of maturing. It's part of becoming the person that you are, and understanding that to help you move forward. You make your most progress when things are hard. Oh, fuck. How many times have we talked about that?
Yeah.
Look back. Every big period of progress in your life has germinated from your lowest points. In retrospect, would you have avoided them if you could? Probably not. Yes, it sucks, but right now will be a gift for your future self. Tough times stop you from relying on momentum or bravado, like going on a hard cut that melts away all the fat. Low points remind you who you truly are underneath. That's awesome. That's really good.
I like that.
That might be like the best way to put everything that we kind of
Yeah.
talked
No,
about.
it's great.
Um,
Yeah, if I look back at anything if I look at things that I am super proud of, like I said a few of these slides ago, that it's hard for me to sometimes be happy with things that I've done. And if I look back at the things that I am most proud of, it's like the really hard shit that I got through. I look back at the time I spent in the restaurant, when I was working at the barbecue place. And some of the hardest times was trying to get that shit up and running, and learning that, and just being the man there, having 36 employees, and running, trying to run this barbecue restaurant in a really busy area, and just the growing pains of a brand new restaurant. And you know man, I was something I was really proud of that we did. But it was tough. I mean, I was working 70, 80 hours a week, and I was miserable. But I look back on that time as, I don't look at it as necessarily like a failure. I was actually journaling about this morning. Um, I don't look at it as a failure. I look at it as, I mean, it was the restaurant didn't make it. I ended up leaving before it closed down. But I was just a really tough time. But man, I learned so much. I really did. I learned a lot about myself. I learned about kind of in we did the construction for the restaurant for the 9 months leading up to it. I was there every single day. Dug the trenches for all the plumbing. I mean, we ripped up 3 layers of floor. Me and my little cousin framed the entire restaurant out. I did so much stuff that I'd never done before, and I learned so much. But like looking back on it now, it's like I feel like I just grew so much as a person in those like 2 years. Because That's when I left college early, or not, I graduated on time, but, like, I was planning on going 5 years just because I wanted to hang out with all my friends. I was one of 2 people in my class of my guys in my fraternity, because that was kinda who I hung out with, that they graduated on time. Everybody else was staying down there for another year or 2, and man, that's what I wanted to do. That's what all my friends were doing, but, like, I had this cool opportunity to go open up a restaurant, and I thought it was going to be the end all be all, and it ended up not working out. I didn't know that at the time, but I made that sacrifice, and man, at the time I was like, "Man, what am I doing? I'm missing all this. I'm missing these times to make these memories with all my friends, but like I'm going to have this awesome business, and it's going to be part of my, partially it's going to be me, and it's going to be something, it was something that I was super proud of, but like, man, those times were hard. And then I look at times like, it's starting in real estate, and those are some fucking hard times. In middle of COVID, I'm making cold calls to a bunch of people that don't want to talk to me, or I'm holding open houses and people don't want to come near you because you're because of COVID and all these things. I got told no thousands of times, and ended up kind of eventually making business out of it. And things ended up becoming profitable, and I ended up here I am 5 years later, still doing the damn thing. And jujitsu, first fucking
Mm.
2 years, you're the nail. But I look at the times that were where I got my ass kicked the most, I definitely like grew the most. And I always say, like, when everything shut down in COVID, me and there was a small core group of us, about 10 guys, and we got together at either my house and my garage. I had mats in my garage, and I also had my other buddy Nate. He had mats in his basement, and I was like the only white belt, and I was training with all these guys that were like high level blue belts and purple belts. That's all. Those are the only guys I trained with for like 4 or 5 months straight. I just got my shit pushed in for fucking 3 or 4 months, but then when I went back to Watson's, and I was rolling with other white belts at the time, I was like, oh man, I, I'm way better than this guy. Like I just completely leveled up. But that was, I remember, just you just don't know that you're leveling up when you're in it.
Mhm.
You don't know that you're kind of, because you can't see anything else, and you don't know anything else until you get around other people that weren't going through that, and then you're like, oh shit, well, look what I can do. Awesome.
I'm just thinking about how much more proud of yourself you'll be when you get through those hard times and do those hard things. And it just makes, and the more that you do them, the easier those things become. For me, it was obviously talked about a lot. The divorce was tough, going through that big learning experience. But, you know, Melissa and I both, you know, that was hard for us. We talked about it, but we're better now. And the relationship that we have now is better than it was during that time. So, as hard as that was, we use that to springboard into something even better. Yeah, we may not be married, which is fine. We're good together for about 3 days before we want to kill each other, which is fine, but we learned that. Like we've learned from that really hard time, and great things have come from that. Um, that's one of the things, like, I'm excited about with selling this house. Like, it's hard for me to sell this house. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm proud of this house. I worked hard for this house. I raised my kids in this house. I've got great relationships, and it's hard, really hard to leave that. And, but at the same time, like, I'm excited to see where, what trajectory this is going to put me on, or how can I use this to springboard into something better. And yeah, I mean, I always think back to, like, when I was younger, my dad, if I didn't make it, like, hockey was my sport. So if I didn't make a hockey team that I thought I should make, and I would just, like, hey, that was hard, but I would go through and come back and be better for it afterwards. And then the next year, I was no doubt better and made the team that thought I should make. So yeah, I mean, shoot, getting released from baseball, fuck, talk about being hard.
Oh,
You
God.
spent every minute of your life since the time you were 8 years old playing this game, and to have someone tell you that you're done. I mean, I didn't handle it the best. I went and drank a bottle of bourbon and was not, was really low. And you see it with a lot of guys, that get out of baseball. They have a hard time. They struggle. And
Your identity.
Right. And you're just like, well, what do I do now? And after the hangover wore off and I could think clearly, and, you know, it was like, I'm going to be okay. Like, this is tough, but guess what? New adventure, new chapter, time to move on. I know that as long as I can take my work ethic that I've learned, that I've developed over the years and everything like that, that I can apply it to whatever I want, and I'm going to be successful at it. And so that's what I did. Here I am, 10 years now. And I believe it's been 10 years since I last played in a professional baseball game, but 10 years now. And I've been able to build a good business, book a business doing this, have my kids, married, divorced, sold a couple houses, all that stuff. So it's just like better things came from that hard time. So I'm excited to see what this hard time is going to produce moving forward.
Last one, number 10. You are not falling behind. You have this vague sense that you're falling behind if you're not always making progress. This is a lie. There's no arbitrary minimum level of productivity to meet every day in order to feel worthwhile. Even Olympians get injured and take time off. Even the best performing stocks have pullbacks. Expand your time horizon. Look at your year on your growth, not your intraday price. Your progress has been great. You were overdue for a small correction anyway. You're still in there. This fucking speaks right to me, man. Because I'm constantly feeling, that's the thing about this real estate business is you're always looking for your next deal. And it's like if you have you have a time where you're like, oh man, I feel like I haven't last couple days I haven't phone hasn't been ringing or this hasn't been happening. And you're like, am I falling behind? Have people forgotten that I'm a real estate agent? Or have everybody forgotten about me? And it's like you go through this constant like worry. There's always like this worry that like you're never gonna do a deal again, kind of. But like I know it's bullshit. But like you always kinda it's always in the back of your head for some fucking reason. At least mine. I always have to like kind of talk myself off the ledge, like, no, fine, good, this is good. You have 3 deals closing next couple weeks. Like you have a lot of good things going. Like just because you didn't like it's always on like when I have a week and it's pretty rare, but whenever I have a week, like this past weekend, for instance, like I had a pretty slow weekend for me. Like I think I only showed like 2 houses all weekend. It was like pretty small, pretty slow for me. And which was great. I got to spend a ton of time with my family and hang out. But then I'm like, at the end of the weekend, I'm like, did I relax too much? Did I not do anything? I didn't do anything. I didn't Sunday. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any work. Like, fuck. What's because it's weird if I have a day that goes by that I don't do anything. And like, then automatically I feel guilty and I feel like I'm falling behind. And I'm like, okay, what? There's other agents that are doing more than me right now, and their business. They probably got someone under contract today. They probably signed a listing today, and I didn't do shit. I'm sitting here on the couch. I did nothing. And I fucking have to like talk myself down constantly and make just stressful.
I get it. And we're always saying if you're not growing, you're dying. But with, this quote or this, it's good to take off like do things in small doses. Like it's not like, oh, just take a year off.
Right.
Like eh, that's not, it's okay to take a break. I've done it, shoot. Oh, let's look at baseball. That's what I like to talk about and what I know. You play the minor leagues, you play 142 games in from April 1st through the middle of September. So April, May, June, July, August. So that's what 105 times 30. It's 150 plus 15 days. Well, 2 weeks into September. So you're playing 142 games in like 160 days. And so like you have to take that time off at the end of the season. If not, you're going to burn out or get hurt. And so that was the thing is they told us, they're like, you are not allowed to do anything until this date. Nothing. And you just get away, you have fun, you relax, you do all this stuff. I tell my players this. Our season's 2 months long, and then we start up fall ball, and I'm just like, take all of August, take the rest of July and all of August off. Don't do anything. The rest, because rest is a part of growth. It's part of it, but It's when you come back from it, or if you never do come back from it, that's where you can fall into a trap. But I mean, this is great, but you can't let this linger on for more than a certain amount of time before then it becomes detrimental.
Right.
So no,
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
the key to this is the expanding the time
mhm.
horizon and like looking at it at the year as a whole, not just today.
Right. Oh, I 100% agree with that. Like, you're not going to win. You know, we got a lot of people that we follow, and they're like, win the day, win the day. You win enough days, and you're going to win the week, and you're going to win the week, and
Win
win
the
enough
month,
weeks, you win the
the month.
month. You win enough months, you win the year. Like,
Win enough years, you win the life.
yeah,
Whatever it is.
and that's all well and good, but at the same time, like, you can't you I don't think it's possible to be on every single day. And I mean, and if you are, wow, good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Um, I just don't know. I guess I guess that's what makes those superstars like Jordan, Kobe, who they are.
Yeah.
They were on all the time, but not everybody is that. You know, that's why there's only been a Kobe and a Michael.
Right.
You know, yeah, you can't. It's and I'm sure even that they took days and times and
Yeah, they took.
stuff
I'm
off.
sure they took vacations, and I mean, that's something I was telling Gina the other day. I was like, man, I would love. Feel like I need. I was feeling like really burnt out about a week or two ago. Just things just crazy. Everything with podcasts and work and the boys and all these things. It's just like I was like, and I because we didn't go on a vacation this year because Theo was born in the middle of the summer, and I want to take a brand new baby on a cross country vacation or do any of these things. So it's just like, man, I would love to just find I was like, man, we should just go get away for a weekend. Go find like a somewhere couple hour drive and just
Herman, go
yeah
check out Nick's new
yeah.
hotel.
Honestly,
That'd
that's a
be
good idea. But I was like, man, we should just go get away for a couple days and just like go, get off the grid and kind of just take a small little couple day vacation and just kind of reset, before she goes back to work and yeah. So, but I just feel like I think that would be good, and I think
That would
it's
be a
needed.
perfect time. Oktoberfest in Herman.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
I'll bring that up to her when we go upstairs.
You're welcome, Sheena.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
I think that was really good shit.
Yeah,
I
it was.
feel like I just went through like a therapy session or
Right?
something.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. And I love the content and stuff that he's creating and putting out
Dude,
there.
it's so good, man.
It's amazing.
I definitely ride his nuts a little hard. I know you know that, but I
I mean, if
definitely
there's
have a-
one person to do it, that's a good person
Yeah,
to
gotta-
do it with.
definitely big fan of a lot of his stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
but, well, yeah, I guess that'll call it for the day.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you could, make sure you hit that like button down below. Click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Comment what you guys thought below, and we will see you next time.